The Seattle Mariners actually won a baseball game, beating the White Sox 5-1, and they are finally done with this awful Midwest weather. We're out of there. We're going home. We're going to Seattle. Welcome to the Locked On Mariners postgame show. Colby, let's get into it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is Thursday, April 14th, 2022, and this is the Locked On Mariners podcast. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms. I am your host, Ty Gonzalez, joined as always by my co-host, Colby Patnode, over there to the right. Be sure to follow the show on Twitter at LO_Mariners, and you can follow me at Dane Gonzalez, that's DAGNZLZ, and Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. Be sure to also check out our Patreon where we talk about the Mariners even more and also get into some non-baseball talk twice a week. Visit patreon.com/Control the Zone for more information on that if you are interested. And if this is your first time joining us here, welcome to the show. If you like what you hear, give us a follow or subscribe wherever you're listening to this. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell whoever you want to. Come check us out. We greatly appreciate it. So, Colby, Mariners are back in the win column, baby. 3-4, not great, but not wholly awful considering how things went the last 4 days. They beat the White Sox 5-1. Bats kind of came alive today. They scored 5 runs, which is better than some of these other games that they played lately. That's actually the most runs that they've scored all year, right? Or yeah, 5 runs is the most, right? Because it was 4. They've scored 4 a bunch. I think probably 4 out of the last 6 games or whatever. But yes, 5-1. Jared Kelenic, couple of hits today, including a 2-run shot, one of the hardest hit home runs of the year thus far in Major League Baseball, 114 miles per hour. Off the bat, Cal Raleigh got a win-assisted solo home run, and then Mitch Haniger got his 3rd home run of the year, a 2-run shot to cap off the scoring effort for the M's. Well, let's talk about the bats. It still wasn't great. Runners in scoring position, they were still 1 for 10. They left 10 men on base. Still some strikeouts. Didn't really take advantage of, aside from the Kelnick home run, didn't really take advantage of a mismatch against Jimmy Lambert. Another, mediocre at best pitcher. But still, they did enough to get the win here. What did you see from the bats? Who impressed you? Who did not? And all that good stuff.
Yeah, it was a step in the right direction. A home run driven offense is dangerous because you can't really predict home runs. Yeah, it would still be nice to see somebody drive a guy in from first with a double down the line or, back-to-back doubles. That might be something fun to see. But, it was better today, certainly. It's not quite the breakout that I think is going to happen pretty soon. As a team, their XWOBA numbers are above average. We've seen some bad luck. They've hit into some bad luck. They've had some bad luck weather-wise as well. But, yeah, we've seen them get BAB hit quite a few times. Particularly Jesse Winker seems to be the main culprit right now. But, yes, the at-bats are pretty good. They're striking out below league average right now. They're walking at a higher clip than league average. So they're putting the ball in play about as much as anybody. It's not a strikeout problem. They're walking more than anybody. More than most. That's not a huge problem. It's just that right now it's coming in the form that they're not getting those big hits when they need them, and it's unfortunate. But today was a step in that right direction. Again, it's you're not complaining about 5 runs. 5 runs is 5 runs, but yeah, they still left some opportunities on the table. So the big explosion hasn't come yet. Hopefully, it comes this weekend. That would be great. But overall, today was a better day, and it was their best. It was their best day of the year, probably. There were some really quality at bats today.
Yeah, some really good at bats. Some bad at bats. Some questionable at bats in terms of the umpiring as well, particularly when Julio Rodriguez was up to bat. believe you mentioned before we hit record on the show that he has been caught looking 5 times on pitches that were outside the zone.
Mm-hmm. Leads all of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, closest guy I believe is has 3, and that's Tucker Barnhart of the Tigers. That is unfortunate. Hopefully, some better, more favorable umpiring for Julio once we get back to T-Mobile Park here. We'll see how that goes, but let's get back to Jerry Kelnick because he's kind of the star of the show today. A couple of hits, the big home run, of course. Also got a single. What did you see out of Kelnick today?
Well, he got a good matchup and he took advantage of it. It's one of those. You can't get too excited because it's just Jimmy Lampert but the home run was extremely well hit. It was a pitch that Jared had missed. Previous games. He certainly earned it. He deserved it. He hit it very hard and a long ways. But yeah, I think we're starting to see a little bit of Kelnick kind of slowly stretching, slowly moving away from this slump that he's in. Yeah. We've seen a few more quality at bats in this series. We saw a pinch hit at bat where he drew a walk, laid off some tough pitches. He's not quite there yet. He's still missing pitches down the middle. He's still quite susceptible to that changeup blown away.
Yeah, there was a slider that was kind of middle for him. I believe it was his third at bat, and he fouled it. He pop fouled or something. I forget what the outcome was, but he missed it. That's the key thing there.
Very hittable pitch, but he does look more comfortable. I again, we'll see. But it's first 2 game of the year. It's really the first time that he's hit the ball hard all year. Got a stolen base in there too. It's you never know what these small little victories can do for you. And Jared, again, he looks like he's slowly getting there. We'll have to see if the results follow. But he does appear to be more comfortable at the plate, and he does appear to be actually starting to lay off of those pitches that he was swinging at in the first 3 or 4 games. He's being a little more selective about the pitches he does swing at.
And as we saw today with the home run, I mean, this is a special guy still. That's special power. That's ridiculous power. And to go off the pesky pole as well, a little added benefit there, a little doink there for Kelnick. Let's talk about JP Crawford here because he just keeps on hitting right now. He's not making a ton of hard contact, but he's making contact and quality contact at that. 2 for 5 today. He's hitting .417, leading the team in average right now. What are you seeing out of JP?
Yeah, nothing too terribly different. We've seen JP kind of go through these stretches before. They typically last about a month, and then he kind of regresses. And JP's kind of a streaky hitter because he doesn't have tremendous bat speed. So when his swing is on and he can kind of make that consistent contact, he can do this type of thing for you. When his swing is off, it's going to look really bad because timing for him is so important because he doesn't have the bat speed to make up for it. So, mostly it's just JP looking like JP. He's not turning on baseballs more than he usually is. He's not hitting the ball a lot harder than he normally is. It's just JP, understanding who he is as a hitter, going up there and missing fewer pitches than everybody else in the lineup right now. So JP's dialed in. He's in a pretty good spot. Again, we'll see how long it lasts. It's not uncommon for Crawford to do this. I think, last June? He was one of the better hitters in baseball for a whole month. Yeah. So not super uncommon. I'm not seeing anything mechanically. I'm not seeing anything that suggests that he's now a 300 hitter. But yeah, he has been the most consistent bat, and you saw the Mariners clearly agree because he hit 5th today, which is
it's a good spot.
Not something I had. It's not something I had on my bingo card, but right now that's not a bad spot for him.
Yeah, it's a good place for him right now as he's currently hitting. And right now, considering some of the bad luck that Adam Frazier has had and some of the poor quality at bats that he's also had, maybe there starts to be a conversation there about putting JP back in the leadoff spot. But we'll see. It's still very, very, very early. We're only 1 week into the season after all. Lastly, 7 hits here for the Mariners, 6 walks. Jesse Winker, another walk. Mitch Haniger with his first walk of the year. Eugenio Suarez with a couple walks, also had 3 strikeouts. Though he's been very up and down. It's like one day he'll go 2 for 4, and then the next day he'll strike out 3 or 4 times. It's it's either one extreme end of the spectrum or the other with Eugenio Suarez so far. But he's made an impact at least, and he's also made a couple of really good defensive plays back-to-back days.
I mean, if you ignore the issues they had in the top of the fifth, bottom of the fifth, with the pop-ups, like whatever. I think we can give him a pass on that. Suarez has been fine defensively. Not great, but he's made a couple really nice plays, including the diving stop drop at double from.
I mean, I guess the Mariners did in fact trade for Matt Chapman.
See what you did there. Yeah, I mean, pretty close. So, Suarez has been fine, and it was rough there after the Minnesota series was rough. I thought he looked pretty good in this series. Certainly, the pitch recognition looked a little bit better than it did in Minnesota. And again, Suarez is a guy who's prone to hot streaks and cold streaks, so it's not as consistent as somebody like Winker or Frazier is going to be. All hitters will slump, all hitters will get hot, but when it comes a guy like Suarez, it's going to run really hot or really cold for stretches. There's going to be very little plateau in his game, so you just got to kind of ride out the hot stretches and hope that other guys can pick up the slack while he's cold. So but I think Suarez has been pretty good so far.
Yeah. Logan Gilbert went 5 solid innings today. We're going to be talking about his start. Andres Munoz, who had a disgusting inning out of the bullpen today as well. We're going to be talking about those guys in just a minute, but real quick, a reminder, this episode of Locked On Mariners is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting, stats, and sports info. Find all of the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. You're listening to Locked On Mariners. Thank you again for making us your first listen of the day, just like you do here every day. And just a reminder to check out Locked On MLB Prospects. Host Lindsey Crosby is a prospect encyclopedia, and he is going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts, just like us. I believe Lindsey is actually going to be doing a deep dive into the Mariners farm system here on one of his next episodes. So yeah, tomorrow. Be sure to check out Locked On MLB Prospects after you're done listening to us tomorrow. So let's get into Gilbert's start here. 4 strikeouts, 5 innings pitched. Probably should have went a little bit longer into this game if not for the wind and all those errors and pop flies miss and all that stuff. Only 6 swings and misses. Slider wasn't very much present today, but he was able to do some good work with the fastball. What did you see out of Gilbert today?
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting day from Gilbert. I didn't think he didn't have his best stuff. I think that was pretty clear. Fastball velocity was fine. He hit 97 a couple times, but he also was at 93 a few times, averaged about 95 miles an hour, which is just down slightly from where he was his first outing. Not a huge deal. But yeah, the slider didn't have the same bite that it did in Minnesota. And honestly, he didn't use his changeup or knuckle curve enough for us to even talk about them. He of his 85 pitches, he threw 7 changeups and 4 knuckle curves. That's not enough. It kind of makes sense against this particular lineup. It was very right-handed heavy. We know that Gilbert likes to go to his slider against righties, the changeup against lefties, but there does need to be more pitch mix here. I didn't think Gilbert was great. I thought he was pretty good. He was efficient. Again, if not for the debacle in the top of the fifth, call it Windgate, I guess. He probably would have gone 6. He was never really in any danger until that situation. I don't even know what we're calling it.
Can we talk about that real quick? Like, what's with this Angels in the outfield type of stuff that the White Sox had going on all series long? Yesterday with the rain game, which we're not going to even get
Robbie
into.
Ray on the mound.
It's probably a good thing that there was a game this afternoon, this morning, wherever in the world you are watching it, because we probably would have spent this entire episode otherwise just ripping into Major League Baseball for letting that inning go on, where Robbie Ray can't even plant his leg. JP Crawford is slipping all over the place. Eugenio Suarez is slipping all over the place. There's puddles in the outfield. The White Sox grounds crew is only putting stuff down on the dirt before the White Sox take the field, and when the Mariners are taking the field, they're not doing anything to keep up with the ground. So whatever. Yeah. But it just seemed like every time the Mariners would go out on the field, the weather would just get worse. The wind would just get worse. The rain would just get worse. Last night, when the White Sox would come out on the field, it was fine. For the most part, at least. Just some angels in the outfield level type stuff that is just completely inexplicable. Clearly, home field advantage, and clearly there is a conspiracy afoot. But jokes aside, let's talk about Andres Munoz, because hot damn. 3 strikeouts. I believe he has struck out the last 8 batters he's faced.
Since Byron Buxton hit the home run, he has faced 9 hitters. He got the first guy to fly out. I believe it was Polanco. Since then, he has struck out 8 in a row. So, yes, he has struck out 8 of his last 9. And he has not allowed a base runner since the home run to Buxton. So, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. 103 miles per hour at one point with the fastball. It was a ball, to be fair, but it was 103 miles per hour on the radar.
Does it even matter? If it's 103 miles an hour, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, and he followed that pitch up with like an 89 mile per hour slider
that he was painting.
Corner. Yeah. If Andres Munoz has that slider command, he's not going to have it every single time out. But when he does have that slider command, it's over. You're done. You're not. Yeah. There's nothing you can do. You can hope you guessed right, like Byron Buxton did, and just start swinging before he even starts his windup, or you can make an out. Like, those are your options. So obviously he's going to have games where he doesn't have that slider. He still has some command issues. He's going to walk guys at times. Obviously that's not who Munoz is. That is who he can be, and that is the best stuff in a very good Mariners bullpen.
And what is this? His 4th outing since coming off of Tommy John surgery, major league outing. Like, that's it's very impressive. It's hard not to get really excited about that. There is some nasty stuff in this Mariners pitching staff. It's ridiculous. When you talk about Logan Gilbert and Robbie Ray and Matt Brash, and then you go into the bullpen, you see, Paul Sewald today, just effortless. He went fastball right up the middle to Gavin Sheets for strike 3. I believe it was fastball. Maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but
92 down the pipe.
It was just a ridiculous outing for the bullpen today. Diego Castillo looked great as well. Man, this bullpen has suffered some injuries. Sergio Romo, we haven't talked about that since the last time we hopped on here. He's on the 10-day IL with right shoulder inflammation. Matt Cook is now up in the bullpen. Casey Sadler obviously got hurt, and that's why Romo came in. But even despite all that, they still have some dogs in this pen, and it's picked up right where it left off, more or less. And adding Andres Munoz to that, if he can pitch like this on a fairly consistent basis, oh boy. watch out. The 6 through 9 innings in games most nights going to be a rough time for opposing teams.
Right, and I think one thing we also, they're going to get Giles back eventually and add him to that mix. We'll see what Giles we get, but it should still help. Romo doesn't seem overly concerned. He said it's more fatigue than anything else. He thought it was because of the short ramp up. So he doesn't seem too concerned that it's a long-term issue, but again, it is a shoulder issue. That was enough to put him on the IL. So shoulders are scary. We'll see where it goes. And of course, there's a possibility that Kirby comes up and he's in the bullpen for a little while, or Brash gets moved to the bullpen when Kirby comes up. And if the Mariners are in it, then Jerry DiPoto will certainly add another bullpen arm, and that's pretty exciting because Jerry has a pretty darn good track record when it comes to adding bullpen arms and finding out, getting them fairly cheap too. Not to dismiss Austin Shenton, who I love, but that's what they got Diego Castillo for. And Diego Castillo is, when he's on, he's right there with anybody else in that Mariners bullpen. and we've talked about how nasty it is. So bullpen's actually been one of the bright spots so far this year, aside from the home run game. Let's just call it that in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Bullpen's been pretty good, top to bottom. And then obviously Mishevitz, which
yeah. But yeah, even
Ernest Elias, baby.
even Matt Festa kind of looks like a dude now. Like that's is Matt Festa?
JT Chargois.
I think that's what I was about to reference. I think you tweeted that yesterday that maybe Matt Festa is JT Chargois. That'd be pretty nice.
Kind of looks like it. Matt Whistler.
You mentioned George Kirby. I know this has nothing to do with the game today, but last night, 5 innings pitched, just 2 hits, 0 runs, 8 Ks on 76 pitches, 48 of them strikes. He retired the last 12 batters in that game. How quick do you think we might actually see George Kirby, especially if maybe Chris Flexen or Marco Gonzalez or maybe Matt Brash falls off a little bit? What do you think it would take? I think that's how I should probably phrase this question instead. Right. What do you think it would take, aside from injury, for George Kirby to get into this rotation?
The calendar turning to the middle of May.
And then who's out? Especially if Brash pitches the way that he did in Chicago.
They'd
Robbie
probably
Ray.
move. I mean,
because clearly he's your worst starter.
Yeah. By the way, you can't say anything negative about Robbie Ray's slider control when it's in a downpour. People on Twitter don't like that. Saying that, oh, hey, Robbie Ray hasn't had a very good slider control yet. Well, he's pitching in a monsoon. Like, yeah, I know they might be connected. I like it. Whatever. Anyways, probably Flexen. I don't know. I don't think that they would be opposed to moving Marco to the bullpen, but if it's close at all, they're probably going to give that nod to Marco. You know what I mean? And again, since we're assuming no injury, I don't. It's like if Flexen is significantly better than Marco, then you just deal with it. And I think Marco's a smart enough guy; he gets it. They could also just go to a 6-man rotation for a little while.
Sure.
Try and help Brash and Gilbert to a lesser extent, kind of try and extend their seasons, try and keep the wear off of them. So a 6-man rotation at some point is not out of the question. But yeah, I don't see any way it happens until at least May. I think again the Mariners came out yesterday or this morning and said they really want to keep Kirby at around 120, 130 innings this year. So how do you kind of manage both him and Brash not being able to give you a full starter's load? Maybe it's by putting both of them in the rotation and just having a 6-man type of situation. And if Flexen and Marco and if they're both pitching well, then that's probably the only way you can do it, unless you're willing to move Brash to the bullpen. And we'll see how he looks over his next few starts. But based on what we saw on, Monday, that's not a viable scenario right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Although Matt Brash coming out like in the 6th to get 6th to go 6th and 7th inning. That stuff in a relief role.
It would be nasty, but that would also rob me of getting to see Matt Brash go 6.
but you would get to see him pitch more days. So
that is a good counterpoint.
By the way, this comes from our friend of the show, Jason Churchill at Prospect Insider. The Mariners pitching has a 3.74 xFIP through 4 games or through 7 games. That is 5th best in the American League. Starting pitchers are 8th in the American League. Bullpen is 1st in xFIP. Seattle relievers lead all of baseball with a 33.7% K rate and still has the 9th best base on ball percentage.
Is that including today's game? Okay.
Yep. Mariners bullpen getting it done. And really the pitching in general.
So the Mariners are finally going home. They're finally out of the Midwest. Oh my God. We don't have to deal with this weather anymore. We're going to a stadium with a roof for the next 10 games. It's incredible. So what do you think home cooking is going to do for the Mariners?
Well, first of all, they're going to get a very valuable off day at home on Monday. So that's great. That's huge, especially since Mother Nature and Major League Baseball has basically tried to screw the Mariners on the schedule front.
Yeah.
So it'd be
At
nice
least they
to
didn't have to play the doubleheader today.
Yeah, I'd probably rather they had done that than
The rain
trying
game.
to find that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Either way, good news is bullpen's in pretty good shape still, so no issues there. Like we thought could be a problem. They know that they're going to play. They know that first pitch is going to be on time. They know that they're going to get the game in. They know where they're going to. They know. It's just a comfort thing, and I think they're going to feed off the energy. We got sellout crowd on Friday. I think we have near sellout on Saturday and Sunday. We'll see what the crowd reaction is like. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty. What's the word? I'm assuming it's going to be pretty energetic. It'll be a pretty excited crowd. Based on my Twitter mentions, there are a lot more people paying attention to the Mariners right now than there are most years, which is not that surprising and also a good thing. So I think it's just going to playing with the crowd, having that energy behind you, actually knowing you're going to have to playing in relative comfort. It's the weather in Seattle's not great. It's supposed to be in the high 40s, low 50s and raining, but we were smart enough to put a roof on our stadium, so those games will be played. Hopefully it helps the bats more than anything, but I think it's going to be the energy is going to be huge, especially tomorrow, and hopefully the Mariners can capitalize on that, because if they come home and they take 2 of 3 from Houston, if they can find a way to do that, things could take off pretty quick for the Mariners.
Yeah, and then they got the Rangers and the Royals, a couple of favorable matchups, not necessarily easy matchups, but favorable matchups.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Which is nice after going up against the Twins, who are really good, and the White Sox, who are really good, and obviously the Astros are the best team in the division right now. We'll see how that progresses over the course of the year, but right now,
sure?
Oakland's
Oakland. Tampa, so,
maybe Jason Burke, host of the Locked On A's podcast, was onto something. Maybe they did win the offseason.
Clearly, man, they're 4-3. They're ahead of the Mariners in the standings. So, yeah, man. Hey, Frankie Montes, Ramon Laureano, Sean Murphy with his gluteus maximus ball magnet is certainly something. I think they swept the Tampa Bay Rays.
That is ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure. No. Okay, no, I'm sorry. They actually lost. Yes.
Okay. All right. That makes more sense.
They took 3 of 4.
Wow.
Including 13-2 victory, a 4-2 victory, and a 6-3 victory. The one loss coming on Tuesday, where they lost 9-8.
Wow.
So,
9-8. That's
watch out for the A's, baby.
Imagine after last year, the Mariners just absolutely dominating them, bullying Bob Melvin out of town, bullying them into a rebuild, basically. The A's actually give the Mariners problems this year.
Crazier things have happened. I remember the early 2000s Mariners teams, the good ones. They always seem to struggle against Tampa. This is back when Tampa was really bad. They go 5-4 against them or something great, just barely edge them out. But by the way, fun note, the American League doesn't have a 5-win team yet. So,
well, the Mariners are 2 wins off of that mark. We'll see if maybe they can pick one up tomorrow against Jake Odorizzi and the Astros.
Ty, who has the best record in baseball?
Oh, I don't even know. Blue Jays?
The Colorado Rockies.
The
Rockies are 4-1. Yep. Who has the most wins in Major League Baseball?
I don't know. Probably the Nationals or something, if we're going on this trend.
Not quite.
Maybe the Padres?
The Mets.
Oh, the Mets. Okay.
The Mets are 5-2. The Rockies are 4-1.
Rockies. See, clearly, Chris Bryant changed everything. If only the Mariners gave him. If only the Mariners gave him 7/182 with a no trade clause, full no trade clause.
And in the realm of not that hard to believe, Texas is 1-4, and Baltimore is 1-5. So
I was actually going to guess that Baltimore had like the best record or something. I haven't been keeping up with what's been going
No,
around the
no, no.
league the last few days.
Too early to do that.
Yeah, too
By the
early.
way, the three teams have one win right now. It's the Orioles, the Rangers, and Ty.
Uh, Brewers? Because I know they've
No,
been struggling. No.
no, they're 3-3.
Oh, okay. Who is it? Tell
The
me.
Marlins,
Oh, wow. That
who
sucks.
come to Seattle at the end of the month.
No, they actually go to Miami. Seattle goes to
Oh,
Miami because they go to Tampa as well.
Tampa, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they go to Tampa as well, which is a really fun road trip. I think that's going to be a fun.
Yeah.
What I think 6-game stretch. Do they play 4 against Tampa? It doesn't matter.
I don't think so.
That's
Homecoming for Logan Gilbert.
yeah.
Yeah,
Homecoming
For Cal Raleigh.
for Cal Raleigh. Yeah. Who lives in an apartment together along with Matt Brash. That trio. Before we hit record on the show, we were talking about the Mariners should put together like a real world Seattle Mariners edition with Raleigh, Gilbert, and Brash. I would like to see that reality show at least for a month.
Yeah.
I want to see what
Well,
goes on in that household.
at the very least, give Julio a camera and have him go do an MTV Cribs style interview for the YouTube channel. I think that would be a lot of fun as well.
That'd be great.
So,
That'd be great. That'd be great. Yes, I am very interested in that now. Cal Raleigh should not have mentioned that they all live together because now I'm forever going to think about what that is like. I will not be able.
Ty is going to walk the streets of Seattle after a Mariners game, waiting for a car to pull into the parking garage so you can be like, "Is that them?"
Is that hey guys, can I maybe stay over for the night?
As
I
they
am.
tase you.
I I am the host of the Locked On Mariners podcast after all. So I mean, I have clout.
Yes.
So
Clearly.
going back to the team though, coming back home, I think this is going to do well for the bats though. Especially like, hey, maybe Jesse Winker can finally, put a ride into one and it actually finds grass or maybe even some bleachers. Because man, that guy has had some awful luck, particularly in this series. Particularly the first 2 games of the series. Adam Engel robbing him yesterday, and then Luis Robert robbing him in the first game. Yeah, I'd be pretty frustrated if I was Jesse Winker, but hopefully that he's putting together some of the most quality at bats in this Mariners lineup right now. It's just not really there's not really a ton of results coming from him.
Yeah, zero concern about Winker.
Yeah, no, he looks like Jesse Winker. That's
Yeah.
a good thing, and the doubles, the home runs, they'll come eventually.
Yep.
And so far, he hasn't been a liability in the field. So for the most part,
I can't imagine I can't remember a play that was like, oh, a good left fielder makes it and a bad one doesn't. You know what I mean? So like, but sometimes that's a little subjective because bad outfielders don't even get there where they should,
Sure,
and it's
sure.
it's kind of hard to tell from TV. But yeah, I mean, nothing egregious, right? Nothing kind of just where you just kind of like,
nothing like Chris Bryant the other day in Colorado.
yeah. Yeah.
Nothing like Chas McCormick on the Astros the other day in Arizona. So
I mean, to be fair, they were going to lose anyway. So
they were going to lose anyway. But anytime that I get
Yeah.
to point and laugh at the Astros, I'm going to take it, of course.
one more thing here. I think we're about to wrap up here, but I want to give a shout out here to the real MVPs of this. What was it? A 7-game road trip.
Yeah.
How about the Mariners catchers?
Yeah.
They are 6 for 20 with 5 walks, 7 strikeouts, and 2 home runs. So Mariners catchers are slashing as of now 300, 440, 600.
Just as we all expected.
Mariners catchers carrying the load. Yep. And by the way, looking pretty good defensively.
Yeah, not
Tom
bad.
Murphy had the slider go between his wickets last night.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, in
obviously
the rain, but yeah.
it doesn't matter, man. Anything that goes through your legs as a catcher, that's a bad look. Like, I don't care what the situation is. You can't go through your legs. But other than that, yeah, it's been fine. Like, nobody's a great framer. I haven't noticed one guy stealing more strikes than anybody else. So, yeah, and it's, run game. Nobody has a great arm, but, then again, the Mariners pitchers really don't seem to care about controlling the run game,
Yeah.
helping their catchers in any way, shape, or form anyway. So it's kind of tough to judge them on that. But yeah, defensively, the catchers have all been fine, I think, and offensively, they've all contributed. I think I don't know if a Mariners catcher has had an offer, like in terms of getting on base. I think there's been like some over threes with a walk, but I think a Mariners catcher has reached base in all 7 games. And that's more than I thought they were going to get. So,
like I said, just as we all expected.
Yes,
we totally saw this coming completely, 100%.
JP Crawford
Especially Cal Raleigh being confident at the plate, that's blown my mind thus far.
I mean, we all thought that it was going to be JP and the catchers dragging the Mariners offense across the finish line.
Hey, you got to mention Mitch Haniger here, because if you don't, we're going to get absolutely destroyed on Twitter again.
No, you know what? You're welcome, everybody. I made that Haniger home run happen. Go check out CTZ, Control the Zone on Twitter. I made that Haniger home run happen, and a lot of people were giving me credit for it, and I appreciate it because I deserve it. You're welcome.
If we wouldn't get copyrighted, I would absolutely play that Nickelback Hero song from Spider-Man 1 on the show to close this out. But unfortunately, we cannot.
Play the Michael Scott instead.
I feel like the YouTube overlords would probably get on us about that as well, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, that is going to do it for our show. Thank you, our dear listeners, so much for joining us here on Locked On Mariners. For Colby Patnode, I'm Ty Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Dane Gonzalez, that's DANEGNZLZ, and Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. You can also find all that stuff in the description of this episode. And thank you again for making us your first listen of the day, just like you do here every day. We greatly appreciate the support. Now make your second listen of the day Locked On MLB. That's where Paul Francis Sullivan, and please call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the Major League's present and past. It's free wherever you get your podcasts, just like us. So have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we will see you tomorrow. Go M's.